Do you then believe in a part of the book and disbelieve in the other? What then is the reward of such among you as do this but disgrace in the life of this world, and on the day of resurrection they shall be sent back to the most grievous chastisement? And Allah is not heedless of what you do. 86 These are they who buy the life of this world for the hereafter, so their chastisement shall not be lightened, nor shall they be helped.
Assalamu alaikum, brothers and sisters. Sulaiman Rahim here, that's the covenant. Break our 7 seals. Well, as you can see, I'm having some technical difficulties, but see if I can get through them. Then when this message stopped, and I had to order a new computer because these are well, that's no story. Anyway, treachery, brothers and sisters. I explained in detail about 2 days ago. See, we afflicted, the original nation afflicted by it. Many different vectors. We got the demons. We got the devils, of course, right? We got our half brother Ishmael, our full brother Esau. Then we got I said the 2 demons, right? That's wolves in sheep clothing. And then we got the traitors. Our brothers in nature, but enemies in spirit. All these things have to be overcome, and that's the charge of Suleiman. Yeah, overcome all those things, because most of you, if all of you, didn't even know you had these issues. In fact, before I started telling you about it, you didn't know you had a demon issue. Most still don't know. A demon issue. And that's something you should have understood. But you didn't. And we'll talk about that in a minute. A demon, well, that's the easiest one. They're the easiest ones to get out. Right? Okay. But traitors, they're difficult. They're very difficult. See? And that's probably one of the reasons why we go to tribulations, because they cannot achieve Hajj, because they have a different spirit. But then, with Ishmael, it's got to go physical. Take our land back. That's physical. And Esau is going to be very dramatic. And we got all those enemies. And the devils, again. Okay. Our enemies, brothers and sisters, that you're not aware of, and some of you don't care. Anyway, what we're going to talk about here is, I keep bringing this up, brothers and sisters, because my main target right now is Farrakhan's demons. So that's why I keep focused on this. Because one of the tricks they got right now, one of the desperate tricks, is to make Farrakhan BS legitimate. See? How do they do that? Well, they say he claims he's speaking Elijah Muhammad's, which he's obviously not. He's not speaking Elijah Muhammad. There's no way in the world you can say that. He's not representing Elijah Muhammad in any way, form, or fashion. Elijah Muhammad's base message was, we're going back home. Abraham will come. He said, we're not going anywhere. No, he says, as a man, no, we can't worship a master Muhammad because he's flesh. Devil's the devil. No, we can save some of them are bad, some of them are good. We can heal. These are primary messages of Elijah Muhammad. He's against all of them. He actually calling God a liar. Because that's God said that be sure this is my covenant with you, and your seed will return here, and you'll be given the land of Arabia between the Euphrates and the river of Egypt. And they said, no, we ain't going nowhere. So he calling God a liar. So what's going on with this? And they can't, I don't care, so those folks with him, they either demons or fools or whatever, because they can't get around that statement that's made. And then on the biological level, his father's the devil. He admits it. So he died to seed Abraham. He's not one of us. He's got this nature of a devil. He just got black skin. That's why he's saying things he's saying. But the trick here is, see, when you have a ventriloquist again, and Elijah Muhammad's not a dummy, but he's using him as a dummy. This is him doing, not me. He's as a dummy. So he's putting words in Elijah's mouth, right? And it look like Elijah's saying those things. That's what you do for, ventriloquists do for a dummy. It looks like a dummy's talking. Then he turns around and says, oh, well, the dummy is his teacher. And so whatever the dummy says, he's repeating. See, is that trick there? So now, he's saying, he putting words in Elijah Muhammad's mouth and then saying, well, he's speaking what Elijah Muhammad said. So now it gives him legitimacy. Because see, I'm representing Elijah Muhammad. I'm saying what he says. Yeah, but those words you put in his mouth. Like, don't call them devils anymore. Elijah Muhammad never. He didn't say it, that's not what his intent. He said because that what Malcolm was saying is they were saying white folks are a devil. He said they were saying Elijah didn't know what he was talking about because they said white laws are doing the same thing. He said, well, matter of fact, I'm white. He said, not doing that. He said, say it like the messenger. So that's why I keep telling people, you can't say anything. So you got to say anything. And so they was using that. And they convinced a lot of people. They said, see, he's white. But that's not what the letters say, because they don't go back and look at the lessons. They don't know any lessons. And all they know is we call them devils. And they don't know the lessons where they get this information from, the premise. We're going to talk about that premise in a minute. See? So they say, yeah, well, how come white people devil? And they worship a devil. And that's what Malcolm was doing, and Wallace was doing, and Farrakhan was doing. And then let's say the Caucasian white. See? And so people just say anything and see all the problems that cause Elijah. Or it caused Elijah a lot of problems. And then it's certain tribes. One of the biggest problems Elijah had was just 2 parts. He was in the middle of the country. And his main problem was from the coast, 2 coasts. On the East Coast, it was 2 hypocrites. Malcolm and Farrakhan come out the same month, March 27, both of the main hypocrites. Malcolm and Farrakhan. On the West Coast, those California bros, they was like off the page. I mean, they said anything. They made up their own lessons, and it was circulating. I seen some of that stuff. If you go out there, it's out there on the internet. I don't remember exactly which ones was. But if you go out to look at theology at the time, I think they give you the whole group, right? And so you just go through them quickly, and you find one where they take and present Elijah Muhammad with all the lessons they made up in California. The brothers was reciting, but they thought they was from the messenger. And the messenger listened intently until they said all this stuff they were saying. He said, man, look at this stuff. It's garbage. It's all wrong. Master Muhammad was one special, and he had put plate on his head or some crazy stuff, gold plate or all crazy stuff. And he had most people like something on 2 coasts. One hypocrite and one just start stuff. And make up their own stuff. That's interesting. So I already see what he went through, so why should I learn other people's mistakes. Well, I'm not sure that was a mistake of his, but learn from other people's problems, put it like that. So that's what problem he had. I said the result of it. The result of it is the whole thing was torn apart after him out because they hadn't found any foundation. So once the Elijah Muhammad was gone, the whole thing's more brothers and sisters. Okay, the war going on right now, that's what I'm going to talk about today. I'm going to talk about some things, right? The signs. But right now, the war in heaven, people should understand this. Because this is a major sign. The abomination desolation sign I've been talking about for years. It's happening right before our eyes. It's very clear. It's very clear it's the abomination desolation. The whole world's in uproar about it. They commit open genocide. Open genocide. They not hide it, right? I mean, they hide it in America. You have to go to the foreign news sites to hear about it. It's not under American control. They threw Al Jazeera out there because they didn't want to report it. They got videos of them telling people to come to a place to eat because they starved and they won't allow any food. And then they say, come in, hey, we got food here. They come in, they shooting them down, shooting them. When they shoot, they're mowing them down. And America knows this. The media knows, but he may not mention it. They actually explain to me, tell them, okay, come on, we got some food over here. And they go and they shoot them down, cold blood. Right? And plus, there's no food there. They tell them there's food there, go there. And if there is food there, you have 100 people go there, they probably got a couple of hot dogs or something. Just never a couple of people. And anybody looks like upset, they shoot them. Blow the damn head off. That's the abomination of desolation. If you look at the root word of abominable, it says the uprising was put down with abominable cruelty. It's clear. No matter how you look at it, it's clear. But why you don't hear anything about it? I explain that. I'm going to do a special on just on that because that's what the plan is. Because if you understand the bottom line here, this whole thing is designed because that's their plan to take you out. And that's a special presentation because I was going to bring Genesis, all these different scriptures in here, and show you that's exactly that's what's going on right now. Because they just desensitizing you right now. I was walking my wife this morning. I was telling her, and I came back from Vietnam on leave once. I think it was like '68, and like downtown Newark, there's a movie called Paramount Theater, I think. Right, that's before they had malls and stuff, right? You show 2 movies, and they had this one movie called Slaves, and Dionne Warwick, she's a female slave, right? And so I said, well, I'm gonna go see it. But they showed 2 movies, and so they had a movie just ahead of that. So I had to say, at the time when I went down there, when I went to see that downtown to see, right, I didn't realize that the sequence. So I went to see it, but they said, well, yeah, so otherwise leave, come back later, or just go ahead and watch this one before you see the other one. I said, okay, I'll go ahead and sit through this one. It was called Night of the Living Dead. Now some of you are old enough to remember this. Probably most of you don't remember at all. But it was the first zombie movie ever made. Night of the Living Dead was in black and white. And it was a black guy who was starring it. No, I never seen it before, I never seen it afterwards. He was one of the main people in there. It was a zombie movie. I didn't know what a zombie was at the time, right? So I'm sitting there, thing come on, and next thing I know, man, people coming back from the dead, they grabbing people and pulling their hearts out, eating them. Man, and I got the hell out of there. I said, man, what the hell is this? I ain't seen anything like that. It's incredible. Now stuff is normal. They showed all the makeup. They got zombie movies all the time. They may have a Night of the Living Dead Part 1, Part 2, whatever. But that was the first one. And so I didn't see Slaves until I don't know when I saw it. I eventually saw it. But I didn't see it that day. And that's how they desensitize you. Like all these video games where you're killing people and all this stuff and all these stupid movies. And people get desensitized. They get, because the first time you see it, oh, well. And then they're shocked. And then after a while, it's just commonplace. And so it's like, that's why some kids go out there killing people and stuff. Cause they on the game doing it, get used to the idea. Desensitizing you. So when you put everything in place, they put desensitize you because right over there, they're doing open genocide. America's right on board with it. They actually supplying the weapons, everything else. I mean, open genocide, this is worse than so-called Holocaust. Open genocide, they just wipe these people out, won't feed them anything. And nobody's doing anything about it. They're open, I mean, if you go on the internet or go foreign, which one you see it, say, man, God, come here. And nobody's doing anything. They desensitizing you. Because that's why I said men's hearts fell for fear of those things coming from the earth. Right? Because that's what you're ready to do to you. And that's why the media is so closed right now. They don't know CNN, NBC, none of them. ABC, none of them is talking about the young. It's open just that should be a worldwide thing. They talk about it because they got control of the media. Because they get ready to do that to you. And they love you, them more than they love you. They love the Palestinians more than they hate you. And we already proved to you. And that's what it says. They planned it. They planned to let them call in a nation, but see, got you thinking you submit to somebody else. No, you. I'll move on, brothers and sisters. Anyway, but the most crucial time in the history of the original nation, right? We base the next 12 months. Because this war will last up until around December. And then you'll be attacked. And then if the tribulation starts, then tribulation lasts about 5 months, and that'll put you right about here. By the time you'll be going home. You'll be going home next year. You'll be going home next year. So around this time. So about a year from now, this could be the most critical time of pressing in trouble. And most of you are not going to make it, bro. Says I have to be frank with you. And we're frank, but not my aim. I have to be, I have to let you know. Open with you. And I'm going to tell you why in a minute. That's why I say many things is conditional. And when it comes to Levites, a lot of stuff is conditional. It's like the sign of Jonah, it's conditional. Because if you read the whole thing, it says, if they didn't repent, all of these other nations would rise up against them in judgment. Because they said, see, the actual Jonah in the past, that's where he characterized it. It's conditional. I don't know how many would survive. I don't know if the scientists must knew how many was going to survive. But I guess they put there as to underscore the fact that it may not be many. Or maybe that's why they did it, because hardly any. They didn't want to say it, only 4 or 5, probably make, because, I'm the one responsible for giving information. And I've already sacrificed 35 years of my life. And if they told me only 5 people are going to survive it, man, I said, well, I went 35 years just for 5 people? That's why they don't put the number there. They don't put the number. That's the only case they don't put the number. How many people survived it? They must know. Had to know. They had to know. Anyway, that's where we are right now. The war's at a pause. But when it resumes, it's going to resume, right, on steroids. And like I say, it's a quiet before the storm. And when it continues, revives, we're going to find that the Sunnis are going to be on the side of America against Iran. I think they are right now. It's just like they're trying to keep it on the low. Because remember, Trump was over there just a minute ago. There was, hey, all this, I'm saying, okay. Okay, brothers and sisters. Let's get to the main thing here. You see here? That's a bully stepping on someone because they have more power than them. And I keep telling my high pressure overcomes low pressure. And I keep telling you about quality, and I know you're not getting any of that. Right? The quality, because we can't control the amount, we control the quality. That's what makes you gods. The quality energy. So, wisdom, pressure is a quality. Right? You take energy and you compress it, you turn it into pressure. Or you turn it into tension. It's quality. Because you can build the pressure up. That's quality you give it. As I said, high pressure overcomes low pressure. That's not no special cases. That's it forever. Right? No exceptions to that rule. But high pressure, I said it's a mind war. So high pressure is stored. Thought is the most powerful force. I mean, that I try to explain how the original being, right? It wasn't created. But the point is that the reason why we are the maker, only queen of planet Earth, because the pressure of our thoughts is equal to when you understand our thoughts are pressure. That's how you know thoughts are pressure, because the universe under total contraction is maximum pressure that can be. So it's a star beyond any comprehension that you can imagine, ain't part. Because you got stars out there billions of times bigger than the sun. The sun we have is a very small star. It can only produce helium, which is a very simple atom. But you got stars that can produce uranium and things like which is they have to be very, very large to produce because they have a great deal of pressure. And so when the universe totally contracted, that means it had to be the greatest star ever. Because all that energy out there had to be, like the Quran says, the atmosphere of the earth, or heavens and earth were one. Right? So the reason why, because our consciousness is pressure. I mean, if you understand that concept of consciousness, it has to be pressure. Thoughts has to be pressure. And it was equal to the pressure so the universe stopped contracting. I mean, I'm not going to go into more detail that I explained, but I can go more detail. But if you understand the basic, going into more detail is just a waste of time. Right? So thought is pressure. But lower thought is less than greater thought. And see, people can tell me, I shouldn't assume stuff. Like I tell you, my escapade, if you want to call that, in Guam, how my pressure overcome their low pressure. In what form did that take? I outthought them. I outthought them. Every time they came with a scheme, I outthought them. That's why I tell people, I said, if you're in prison, if you increase your pressure of your thoughts, they have no problem. They have to let you out because their thoughts is holding you in. It's not a key that's holding you in. It's not a bars holding you in. Somebody got to turn the key to those bars. And you make them unlock those bars. If they come out in a minute, because it says he will free the captives. I should say it a different way, because they can take two ways. Right? But right now, the devil's outthinking us. That's what it says Adam. He taught Adam all their names. And they didn't know. He said, all we know is what you taught us. That's what the angel said. He taught them to think on a high level than they were. See, we have the ability to think on the highest level possible, but because it takes energy to think, and because energy deprivation, our ability to think became less and less and less. So it came almost a beast level. Because high as the devils are controlling everybody, how controlling the world. They're not controlling with religion. They control with mathematics. They're bombs and all that stuff with mathematics. They ain't no carpet, magic carpets or praying. And no, they beat you with mathematics. They beat the whole world. They beat the Sunnis with mathematics. Sunnism, there's no mathematics, that's why they're losing. Once the devil came on scene with mathematics, put Sunnism on the mat, on their knees. I'm going to two things I want to talk about there if I get to it, right? See here. Now the devil's here, this devil's right there. They're thinking. See, I'm putting it in terms like this here, right? But say like they going to the gym. They're going to the gym. They exercising. That's hard work. Man, I don't want to go to the gym. People, I don't want to go to the gym. Yeah, they don't want to be bothered with it. But see, they are thinking. You go to, I've experienced it myself. I talked about it the other day, right? See, they're inspired to go to take math courses, physics courses, science courses, biological courses. But when you come up and you get advice, say, oh, man, why don't you go and take reading or school education or something? Something you ain't got to really think about. And you buy it, and you pay all that money for something. I got relatives right now. They pay a lot of money. One pay a lot of money to be a newscaster. Never did one day in it ever, not one day. I got another one, right? Went and took them as criminal justice, and never worked one day in it, not one day. But spent a lot of money to go to school for that. I tell them, don't do that. So get something. It's mathematical. It's mathematical because it makes you think. See, most of these things is just memory. You know, when you go to lawyer, a lot of stuff is just memory. Remember all these laws, remember these different laws and everything. Most is just memory. Remembering stuff. A lot of things you go to school is just remembering stuff. There's very little thinking behind it, just remembering. And so your brain, I'm gonna explain that in a minute. Your brain has a limited amount of memory cells. You have an infinite amount. I tell people, if you live 1,000 years, you know, you would remember 90% of what you did your whole life. Unless you just put it right down and made an effort, you wouldn't even remember when you was born or your parents or anything. It's impossible. You don't have but so much memory. Your brain's not unlimited. It has so much, just like a computer, it has so much dedicated memory. That's why people get Alzheimer's. They can't remember anything as you get older, because you exhaust your memory. And especially if you're the type of person that wins your whole life was just about memory instead of thinking, then pretty soon you got Alzheimer's, because you exhausted your memory, so now you can't remember anything, because you exhaust all your memory cells. Especially a liar. Liars, they rely all on their memory cells, and so they got to remember everything. When they tell a lie, when you tell the truth, you ain't got to remember, because, right? You tell the truth, but when you lie, you got to remember everything you said, who you said it to, all that stuff. So you burn out your memory cells. See, nobody tell you these things, and you just assume, oh, it's up to Jesus and all that. No, okay. But see, they go in the gym, a mental gym, and you're exercising. What are you doing? And see here, this is what you should be doing. You should be mental exercising too. That's what my job is, to try to get you to try. That's a good word, try. Get used up, but black folks, hey, yeah, I ain't taking math, I don't understand no math. And you listen to the course they taking. You know? How many black engineers you know? How many black scientists you know? They'll tell you anything, you ask them questions, they don't know anything. How you know calculus, you know physics, you know trigonometry? Now, that's the language of mathematics. You know, vectors, you don't hear that stuff. Yeah, see, that's what you hold, that's what governs your entire life. So what do you know? You remember stuff. And you go into life remembering things. Instead of going to the gym, I told you, the angel is a mental gym. You have to think to figure it out. You have to think. But you got people who just want to remember. You got black folks, boy, as Levites, all they want to just remember stuff. Remember. And so that's why they make mistakes, because they're just remembering. And that's not getting them anywhere. It's like going to the gym and studying how all the machines work. But you never use any of them. But y'all go to the gym every day, man. How come you look like 100 pound weakling? Oh man, I know how all the machines work. Well, how could you use them? Obviously. You see, you can't use them. You just see actually sliding words. Because you go to the gym, okay, you say, to qualify, you have to be able to lift so much weight, you have to be able to do this, and you can't do anything, that means you ain't, and that's what it is with the angel. You got to get a certain level on that, or you're not going home. You can forget it. Now you can call it like you want it. You can call it, I don't like you, help you, fuck you, and all that. You can say whatever you want to say. That's a fact. Like I say, that's a fact, Jack. I keep telling people they don't get it. You ain't going home. If you're going home, you're going home like a gorilla in a cage. That's where you're going if you get home. Every last same apartment. Because you just don't want to live. You don't want to think. You don't want to think. You refuse. Because I know you're thinking when you start solving those verses. I know you think when you start lifting, you can lift 50 pounds, 40 pounds. Not now. If you can't lift 20 pounds, now you ain't thinking at all. You ain't lifting shit. So you can talk all you want to. Man, I'm going to the gym. Hey, here's 10 pounds. Man, I can't lift it. Well, how long you been going to the gym? I've been going 4 years. I can't lift 10 pounds. You ain't doing a goddamn thing. You're fooling yourself. Because if you're lifting, you be lifting then. You be lifting 100 pounds, maybe 200 pounds. And they can't lift one verse. Not one pound. Can't lift it. They can tell you, hey, that's a pound there, that's 2 pounds there, that's 5 pounds there. No other pounds. No other machines. We can't lift one of them. That's just the way it is. Now, that might be where you want it. Don't like it, that's just your problem. That's where it is. Like Noah, you want to survive, you better build a damn ark. God didn't build it for him. So if you want to survive Noah, you got to build an ark. This is the specification. Gave specification what you need, how you had to build, and now he left up to Noah. Left to Noah. See it? But this is where we are. This is where Levites are. Okay? I ain't going to the gym. Now, how you compete? If on a physical plane, how can you compete with this? If you got in a fight or something, who you think gonna win that fight? Who you think gonna win that fight if it's on a physical level? That's why the devil still got control over you. Because they're outthinking you. They're outthinking you. High pressure. Thinking is pressure. They're outthinking you. And right now they get ready to close in on you and squash you and crush your ass. That's why I said come as a snare. Our people lost because of lack of knowledge, because don't refuse to fucking think. And that's going to pay the price for it. Our people right here, years, can't lift a pound. Remember stuff. That's not going to get it. High pressure. You have to think, decrease your high pressure. Outthink them. Tribulation will have to outthink them. Or say, oh, well, I'm doing the 5 pill, that kind of stuff. Yeah. It's not thinking. It's like steering wheel mostly. You gotta have an engine in there. As soon as you got the 5 pillars, well, how's it working for them? They got the 5 pillars. See here? Now, I explained this before, I'm explaining it in more detail now. You got a thing called a premise. Premise is the facts. See, let me put it this way. You know, Master Muhammad came and gave you 2 sets of things. He gave you what they call lessons, right? Actual facts. That was the premise. And you're supposed to remember them. Everybody had to remember. Before you get your extra, you had to recite that stuff. You had to remember it. Only had to remember it. And then he gave you the problem book. Now, when you got problems, you got to solve problems. Remember, problems is not something you remember. You got to solve them. Then you get a problem book. So now you get a premise, and now you get a problem. But see, they recite the premise, they recite all this lesson, but they never solve the problem book. They never think. They don't want to do the thinking. And I go and I show all kinds of stuff in there. But they can recite it, remember it, but you got to start acting upon it. Oh, I know what the gym is, man. I know all the equipment's in there, right? I know how to use it. But have you used it? Oh man, well, I ain't got time for that. What the hell what's the point? It's not benefiting you at all. Because logic, your brain, right? That's the muscle side of your brain, right? You got knowledge, that's equipment, and then you act, and the logic is processing it. That's the processing part. See? So you get your mind, and you get information. That's your mind. Mind takes information in. That's your premise, you know. But the information you get is bad because they tell you, well, Christianity is Jesus. And all this. That's bad information. See, that's why you get your mind back because you get proper information. But if you ain't applying, you ain't, like I say, oh, well, you're going to a bad gym, right? And so, you know, the equipment don't work, or it's bad equipment, you know, it doesn't work, do like it's supposed to, whatever, right? And somebody say, oh, here's a good gym. It works right. They pay a lot of money at other gym. Then you go to the right one. But it doesn't matter if you're going to a good one or a bad one if you ain't doing any damn thing with it. But here's a better gym, man, but you go with it, but you don't do anything with it. Right? So they give you bad information, but you ain't processing that either. All you're doing is just memorizing. Right? They just tell you to memorize it. Because you ain't processed, try to think it through, figure it out, whether it makes sense or whatever. Okay? And so that's that red thing of circle right there, that's your mind. See? Your mind's not the brain. That little white thing inside there, that's like a compiler. Then you get that from your mom and your pops. So the devil gave it to us. It's a compiler, if you understand what it does, it checks the information, it adds the information that's coming in, to make sure it's right, information is correct before it gets to the brain, before you start processing it. That's what it's supposed to do. So in other words, it checks the information. So mom and dad say, hey, boy, don't you listen to Muslims? Well, they build your compiler. But don't you go out there and do this or do that. Don't you go out and do this and do that, right? They build that compiler up. Don't listen to black people when they say something they don't know what they're talking about. I don't like niggers. That's building that compiler. It's just stuff they tell you. And so therefore, any information that's coming from anybody that doesn't fit that compiler, you reject. That's if you listen to what your mom and pop said. That you listen to what your mom and pop said, right? And so the devils, they gave us a compiler, right? Christianity. Only listen to Christianity. No, listen to that Muslim stuff. Only listen to us. We white folks, we know what we're talking about. And so you have that, you don't realize it. And you don't need to be thinking for we do thinking for you. Just do what I say. And so they gave that to your parents give it to you, because once your parents give it, you're going to really accept it because you got it from your parents. And you don't know you have it. Right? And so therefore, right away, you get your back up when certain things happen. Oh, I ain't going to deal with this, I ain't going to deal with that. You don't even know why, because your parents told you. So sometimes I come and tell you the truth, you ain't, I don't hear nothing on nigga. Because you hear people say all the time, I don't want to nigga on the talking about. Well, where do you get that from? Ain't they niggas? Where do you get that from? Because that's compiler. And one of the first thing you need to do is disable that sucker and build your own compiler, because the compiler we have is the ones the devils gave us. That's along with the mind, that bad information they give us. Because you see the media right now. Why is the media not telling you anything about what's going on, especially over in Gaza? When that should be, you ain't talking about why. They set this whole thing up because they're getting ready to take you out, and the media's not going to talk about it. And they're going to be slaughtering you. They said that. That's why I tell you to flee. They're going to be slaughtering you. Slaughtered that. That's what they plan to do. And nobody's going to know about it outside the country. And inside the country, you ain't going to know because they won't, right? They ain't gonna tell them because something like whatever. So it's gonna be, they ain't gonna be talking. It's like you talking about over there. They be slaughtering you, getting rid of you. That's the plan. And a lot of you go to the Lord said, my people lost for lack of knowledge. Why are you lost for lack of knowledge? Not because I'm not putting it out there. So anyway, logic is actually, once you get information, you process it. That's the exercising part of it, active part of it. Right? Otherwise, like a software, information, right? Control information that gets into the brain. You got to compile the edge information. So, but don't accept this, don't accept this. It doesn't matter whether it's good or not. Just don't accept it. Don't accept anything. Oh, yeah, they have a black, because a black person said right away. You don't even know it. You don't even realize it. Well, I heard a black person, man. I ain't. But a white person comes and says the exact same thing. You all in. You all in on it. Because that compiles that word. And who gave that compile the devil? So they want you to listen to what they want you to hear, and they don't want you to listen to anything else. So therefore, in this case right here, you got a brain, and the brain is just not active. It's not doing anything with the information. It's just storing it. That's memory. It's just storing information. Just memory, storing it. But after a while, your storage runs out enough how you can't remember anything. You're just storing it. Information come in, premise, right? The premise is what the devil's told them the facts are. That's why you have the problem book, and you got actual facts or the lessons, and that's the premise. The bottom line tell you how things are, who the devil is and everything else. And now you get the problem book. Now you got to try to figure it out with understanding of the premise that you got. Because the premise is actual facts, the information that you really need to tell you where everything is. So now you use that to process with. But Fry can tell you, no. He changed the premise. We ain't going anywhere. Devils ain't devils. See? Because that's where he said, when you understand how things work, then these people be obvious. You see what they're actually doing. But the reason why he's getting away with a lot of this stuff, because you ain't doing no goddamn thinking. Use memory. So in other words, you didn't do anything with Elijah, or you just remember stuff. So you just go from one memory to another. So the Pharaoh just give you more memories. So he gives you more memories. Because you ain't trying to figure it out, trying to figure out what's right or not. Because the point is, as you see, these people don't even know how much 2 plus 3 is. Because if you listen to anything I said, it takes 5 minutes to figure out that nigga. It's clear who he is. It's crystal clear. It's like lifting 1 pound. I ain't gonna lift a pound, man. I might lift 2 ounces. So you can't just lift a pound. Oh man, I ain't mess with that, man. Let me go get me a beer, watch some NFL. You ain't wanna lift a goddamn pound. That's what you gotta do is see him. It's shy. He's no good. Everything is shy. He's no good. And you can't see him because you don't even want to lift a goddamn pound. You don't even want to do that much thinking. You see here? In this case, something happened anyway. This one's thinking. Information come in, logic is thinking. It's processing information. This one's thinking. Now, how far he's got? He can lift a pound, 5 pounds, 10 pounds. You lift more than a pound. So depending on how much work he put in. He's the Hulk, or what? Because I didn't get the angel by memory. That requires thinking, intense thinking. Over 35 years, intense thinking, to put everything on it. Because you can't get, where am I get the memory for to get that? There's nothing out there, no reference points I can get to find out what that means. I had to think it. And had to figure it out. I say, what is this? Where's this? And put this, let's figure these things out. I can rely on memory. I rely on memory, right, just to keep things in sync. But to figure it out, the angel had to be, it says, he was worthy, alone was worthy, because he was able to put the energy in to make it happen. So the point is we have the ability to do it, Because energy deprivation had the energy to do it. But now you had energy to do it, and you don't want to do it. You let the devils think. That's what Wallace said. We don't need this stuff. Devils got it. White man got it. That's why he said, do for self. He didn't want to think. And he wasn't thinking with Elijah either. Because once you're going, you're back to memory. You recite all the lessons. How can you recite those lessons and still be with Farrakhan? Because you remember them. You ain't thought them. You ain't thought about them. You just remember them. You recite them. It tells you right there. If you just recite it, it tells you right. If you just recite the lesson and think half a bit about it, you'll be with Farrakhan because the lessons right tell you. So who is the original man? Who is the devil? And it tells you right. And he said, no, because you rely on memory. You ain't thinking nothing about none of this. You know, give me some memory. You know what they call that? Called Alzheimer's. You're gonna pay a price for it because thinking is what causes higher pressure. And you will still lower pressure, that's why you're still under control of those. And most of you, right, is going to be in that situation, even going to tribulation, because you ain't going to survive it. You're not going to survive it. If you haven't been thinking, and then you're not going to survive. You might as well cook. Just like what ostriches, put your head in the sand and let it, because we always wonder about that. I don't know, maybe that's not true, but that's kind of strange. An ostrich, when they had Australia, right? They said if they attack, they put their head in the sand. And the bigger ass, they got bigger asses, right? Ass sticking out. Hell, the lion don't want the ass, don't want the head, they want the ass. And that's what they do. So that's kind of strange. But you might as well be like an ostrich. Because you're dead. You're dead. You're not going to make it. Because you got low pressure. And the devil's got higher pressure than you, right? That's why we're in the situation we're in now. So you want to be clear, straight? Because you don't want to think. You got other things to do. So you keep on doing all those things. Because you got the energy to do it. But you chose other things. Destroying yourself, destroying your family, destroying everything. You ain't thinking. You don't want to. You say, like people used to say, that should be a joke. If you want to hide something from a black person, just put it in a book. You see this? That's what this says.
Matthew 5:24 I say to you that unless your righteousness far surpasses that of the scribes and Pharisees, you will not enter the kingdom of heaven.
Understand what it says there? Before I say you, Matthew 5, so you don't think I made this up. Before I say you that, unless your righteousness surpass that of the scribes and Pharisees, you will not enter the kingdom of heaven. See, now you want to try to figure out what this means. Bottom line says, unless your mental pressure is greater than theirs, you will not enter the kingdom of heaven. You will not. You have to overcome their pressure. Because if their pressure is greater than yours, it means you being crushed by them. You will not enter the kingdom of heaven unless you exceed theirs. Somebody say exceed. What's righteousness? It's mathematics actually thinking for us, pressure. It's action. I've been telling people they don't listen. They thought they're going to just ease on into the hereafter. You want to ease in all right. That's all about high pressure and low pressure. And right now, you got low pressure. That's why the devil's control you, and some of you refuse to think. So how you think about high pressure? I keep telling you, Injil is your gym. Not the 5 pillars, that's your protection. Injil is your gym. And that's the challenge which we need to qualify. Like you want to qualify the Olympics and stuff, I tell you, this is what you got to overcome. You got to overcome this. Ain't no exception about it. You got to get the Injil. And the point is, they even gave the Levites, right? What do you call it? A spot, if you want to say it right. They just give them 2 books, 3 books. That's substance Injil, right? So you don't have to understand. Oh, it doesn't understand that much. So in other words, you ain't got to lift 1,000 pounds, but you got to lift 700. You can't. I know you can't lift 1,000, but if you lift 700, that's still more than theirs. You understand what I'm saying? The bottom line is you got to be better than theirs. So those books, you put you have to think, right, exercise your brain enough to get that. That's true. That's still, bottom line is, you gotta your pressure to great nerves. And those books will put your pressure, and that's the level you need to be above theirs. Because these people, I think they come with this stuff. They get the inspiration from us. But I say, you give somebody a blueprint, but they got to use their brains to make it happen. You say B, but the technician has to make it happen. You have to think it through. And because for 500 years, 400 years, well, we couldn't think anyway, couldn't have enough energy to think. But now we do, and so now we want to sit around and let the devils do it for us. That's exactly what Farrakhan was saying. Oh man, we don't need that, do it. We got stores, they got stuff. That's exactly what they were saying. It's nothing over there Farrakhan does that requires you to think. You know, and mathematics is nothing over there. Nothing in Sunniism either. And the angels, the book, they tell you that's what you need to overcome. And they made it. They made an exception for the Levites. Okay, you got to overcome 1,000, but you got to overcome 700 because the devils think on the 600 level. That's why I put that mesh in there, right? Their brain is 6 ounces, now it's 7 ounces. See, you don't know why they say stuff like that. See, ounces weight. Weight is also pressure. So they said their pressure, right, is only up to 6 pounds, I think 6.5. But you have the ability for 7, but you got to turn it on, and you don't want to. You don't want to learn anything. You don't want to learn anything. And you lie about it. You don't want to learn vectors. You don't want to learn math. You want to think. Even if you did that to start the thinking process, but you don't want to think. You refuse to, and you have to. You can't. You can remember engine all you want to. It's not going to help you. You have to increase I keep telling you the pressure. Remember, memorize the angel doesn't increase your pressure. How could it possibly do that? But you don't want to do it. People around for years haven't lifted 1 pound yet, not 1 pound. And then members fell into it. They can't remember stuff right. That's the way it is. Now you hate me or whatever, I don't care. No matter, that's the way it is. I can't change it. And that goes for me also. That goes for me also. But I've already done it. And it costs a lot. 35 years of constant. I didn't realize exactly what I was doing at the time, but because every time you go in, you lift more weights, it gets harder, harder, harder. Man, oh, yeah, man, you got to go every day. Keep on. After a while, you lift more heavy weights, heavy weights. I lift more weights now than I did when I was 50. Actually, to tell you the truth. People say, "Why you?" People look at me, man. Wow, you lift a lot of weight. I do curls. I got right on that machine, wherever you say machine, right? 345 is on here. What's that? 135 pounds. Dude said, "This is young dude." They said, "Damn, man, that's a lot of weight." He looked at me, and I was calling. That's just physical. And I don't like doing it. I hate doing it. I hate going to the gym. I tell my wife I go 4 o'clock in the morning, get 4 o'clock in the morning, so I be at the gym 5 o'clock because I don't want anybody in my way. I want certain machines I want to use. I want to get it for anybody, so I don't want to interface anybody. I want to get the hell in there, out of there, right? Okay. I get there, I go down to the gym, I get there, and they have like treadmills, and I go to the treadmill all the way down there, I don't be bothering anybody. I'll get that out first. 5 miles on that. And then I go do free weights, then the machines. That's about 4 hours altogether, to right between 3.5 to 4 hours. I hate it. But otherwise, I'm 76 years old. I've been in a wheelchair, a chin hanging all the way down, right? Barely see, diabetes, bent over, Ain't any of that. The same thing applies to thinking. Because just do this here, the amount of thinking it takes to do this every day. Anyway, brothers and sisters, like I said, unless your righteousness is surpassed that of scribes and Pharisees, these are thinkers. If your thinking doesn't press theirs, you will not enter the kingdom of heaven. You will not enter. Because you're still under their control. You're still in submission to them. Because their power is higher than greater, their force, their pressure is greater than yours. So let's talk about, I'm talking some of these signs. There's a lot of signs, brothers and sisters. Okay? I tell people, you know, people just say anything. But when you say, when you don't know, you say anything. You build memory, you try to impress people with your memory. They say action speaks louder than words. Why do you say that? Words are just memory. Actions, that's thinking. That speaks louder than words. They're trying to impress you, but they can impress other people that don't think. They can't impress people that thinking. The person that goes to the gym can see you a mile away. I mean, I go to the gym, he look at you right away, he know you want bullshit, you ain't going nowhere, you ain't going nowhere, you don't go anywhere. But he go, he knows. She knows, he goes, she knows. And the last chance you got is a tribulation. Survive that. Or you won't come out. Because they won't come out, I told you, they'll come at you everywhere they can. They're still thinking, they still be thinking. They ain't gonna stop thinking. But they be thinking more because they're under great distress and everything else. They'll be forced to think because they're trying to survive. They'll come at you every kind of way possible. And you think you have to outthink them just because you're smarter? Don't work that way. You high pressure, the lower pressure, that means you outthink them at every turn because they can't think. They can't think. Their pressures, their thinking is quality of thinking is pressure. And their quality is greater than theirs. So there's nothing they can do, no matter where they come, you come with something better. That's something I was in Guam to look like. And then I said I was going to do it, but I'm not going to do it now because time has run out pretty much. I was going to sit down one day just tell you all the different things that they try to pull on me there. They came every kind of way you can think of. And I beat them every turn. I walked out and they couldn't understand it. But made me understand even better. Because, like I said, experience, knowing something is one thing, experience is something else altogether. It kind of like underscores it. Okay, let's talk about a few things, right? So let me see if I get this right here. I'm going to talk about some of these signs. Okay, 66 one. Let's look at that one.
(666). 11. And I saw other wild beasts stepping up out of the earth, and it was having horns too like to lamb, and it was speaking as dragon. 12. And the authority of the first wild beast, all it is doing in sight of it. And it is making the earth and the in it dwelling in order that they will worship the wild beast the first, of which was cured the blow of the death of it. 13. And it is doing signs great, in order that also fire it may make out of the heaven to be stepping down into the earth in sight of the men. 14. And it is making to the dwelling upon the earth through the signs which it was given to it to do in sight of the wild beast, saying to the dwelling upon the earth to make image to the wild beast who is having the blow of the sword, and it lived. 15. And it was given to her to give spirit to the image of the wild beast in order that also should speak the image of the wild beast, and it might make in order that as many as if ever not might give worship to the image of the wild beast they should be killed. 16 And it is making all, the small and the great, and the rich and the poor, and the free and the slaves, in order that they should give to them engraving upon the hand of them the right or upon the forehead of them. 17 And in order that not any one man be able to buy or to sell if not the having the engraving, the name of the wild beast or the number of the name of it. 18 Here the wisdom is, the having mind let him calculate the number of the wild beast, number 4 of man it is, and the number of it 666.
Now, brother and sister, see, 666. Again, thank you. Now, these things I'm telling you, if you had to think a little bit, see, all these signs look good. It's like, what's the sign if you can't see? What's the point of signs you can't see? You drive around, you buy, you can't see them. And most of these signs think some of them just think a little bit. So if you fail the sign, that means you wasn't worthy at all. Because you couldn't even see that one. 666 is so easy to see. You ain't got to lift up 5 pounds for that one. Because it says, what's the power, not the power, where's their weapon? Sanctions. Who's doing the sanctions in the world? There's 3 of them together. That's America. Britain and false Israel. I mean, let's get the America part. They keep talking, well, they're going to give you a sign, watch out for the Antichrist, going to put a sign on you, man, and you can be to buy and sell, and you buy all that crap. So you remembering that, right? Oh, man. Because, the thing is, when they came with computers, you had these preachers out talking about, man, see, that's the sign of the beast, man. Because everything will be computerized, and so forth and so on. I mean, that was a big thing back there. And when they had Y2K, when year 2000, that was another sign of the beast, right? See? And Reagan was supposed to be a sign. All this BS. I mean, it's clear. If you get the American part, the rest of the part, it might look a little more thinking, but at least you got that part. But they ain't got that part. People look, they're saying, wait for, see, that's a clear sign, right? But if you go in Italy and they got the signs in Spanish or Italian, it's still no good to you. And so if you ain't thinking, those signs might as well be in Italian or French or something. Because you don't know, it's mathematics, but you don't know mathematics, so they might as well be in French or French, so you don't see them. You need an angel to see that one. Sanctions. Who's doing all these sanctions in the world? America is. And it's 3 of them together. America, Britain, and false Israel. And they said, well, the image of the beast. Right? And they tell you what the image of the beast, right? They tell you it's going to be some kind of a statue or something, or it's going to be some computerized thing, right? They tell you. And then we understand, they're talking about false Israel, his government will be the image of the other beast, the beast that was slain by the sword. But the bottom line, she got America out of that one. If you got that, you're halfway there. They ain't got that one. They don't have that one. That's what 666 is. I'm not going all the details. I'm just giving you some highlights on the signs. 666. If I get to it, I got a whole thing explaining that in detail later. 666. I won't get to it though. But you got America, all these sanctions, and false Britain, that they put sanctions on you if you don't worship the second beast for false Israel. Well, most people get sanctions because they're in conflict with false Israel. I mean, you don't need an angel key to see some of this. But if you listen to them, the 6 had nothing to do with any of that kind of stuff. Something they're waiting for to happen, and it's happening right before your eyes. Then abomination of desolation is another one. Another one. It's happening right before your eyes again. It tells you where it's going to take place. They even tell you where it take place at, in Jerusalem. Who controls Jerusalem? Not the Palestinians. If you look at the root word of abominable, it says a rising, right, was put down with great cruelty. Abominable cruelty. I think I said it correctly. So then how can you go wrong with that? And that's been going on for over a year and a half now. Nobody's called that. And see, another thing is, even if the devils knew it, they couldn't call it. If they knew 666, because you don't need injured for that, they couldn't call it because that means they identify who they are. So they would hide it from you if even they knew what it was, and abomination desolation also. Because that means false. This was false. And the thing is, it tells you, it says, we see Jerusalem surrounded by armies. No, it's destruction. That tells you, that first right there tells you that false Jews, they're going to be destroyed. It says right there. When you see Jerusalem surrounded by armies, you see its destruction is destruction. Who's controlling Jerusalem? Not Palestinians. That means they're going to be destroyed. They said when you said that, they're going to end up in their destruction. How much thinking you need? If you like I said, if you're blind, they can put light bars in front of you, you ain't going to see it. If you don't speak English, if you don't speak Spanish or sign Spanish, you ain't going to understand what they say. If you ain't thinking, then no stuff is blind. You might as well be not say anything to you. So like you speaking English and they speaking French, you might as well not be speaking all because you don't know what the hell they're talking about. And so you don't understand mathematics, then you understand you don't. It's right in your face. That's a clear sign right in your face. It's been in your face for a year and a half and you don't see it. Then somebody tell, oh, well, now I remember it. We should be able to figure it out because then you remember that. Or do you remember that? No, then you can keep remembering that how your memory fails. Because memory is not going to save you. See, that's what Farrakhan's doing right now. He's telling you just pray. After all this here, how can he not tell you the mathematics plane? How can he not tell you these things? He not tell you what time it is. He not tell you what you need to be doing. He identifying things. God told him to shut up. That's convenient. Pray. That's all. Just pray. Pray for what? What are you going to pray for? Just pray. You see? Just pray. Don't think. Let Jesus pray for you. Let Jesus do things for you. That's what I'm going to do, praying for you, thinking for you. Well, you can't pray to him, right? Not thinking. There's no thinking required in anything he does over there. Or you just remember. Remember he said this, remember he said that. When you go to that study group, that's right there. They pass around something he wrote. He said, and you got it. They pass it around. It's like a few paragraphs, and there's 10 people there, and you read one sentence, and that person read the next sentence. No thinking required. Because if they start making you think, you'll be out of there. I don't really think. And that's the problem is the Levites have. Just refuse to think. And that's going to cause their destruction. But I've been around for a while, and still nothing, zero. Have lifted one weight, not one. Even the smallest weight that will go over, they can't lift it. Mama desolation.
Abomination of desolation. 15. When you therefore shall see the abomination of desolation, spoken of by Daniel the prophet, stand in the holy place, whoso readeth, let him understand. 16 Then let them which be in Judea flee into the mountains. 17 Let him which is on the housetop not come down to take anything out of his house. 18 Neither let him which is in the field return back to take his clothes. 19 And woe unto them that are with child, and to them that give suck in those days. 20 But pray ye that your flight be not in the winter, neither on the Sabbath day. 21 For then shall be great tribulation, such as was not since the beginning of the world to this time, no, nor ever shall be. 22 And except those days should be shortened, there should no flesh be saved, but for the elect's sake those days shall be shortened. 23 Then if any man shall say unto you, Lo, here is Christ, or there, believe it not. 24 For there shall arise false Christs, and false prophets, and shall show great signs and wonders, insomuch that, if it were possible, they shall deceive the very elect. 25 Behold, I have told you before.
See it, brother? Now in this case, it tells you the exact reason to flee. It tells you the exact sign you need. But we got people tell you, oh no, what sign of Jonah? They don't. You know what I'm saying? You say anything. People die because they're sitting around waiting for the sign you talk about when the sign that they need to know. Because you're working on memory. Because if you thought this thing through right there, it tells you exactly that you flee when you see. It tells you exactly what situation you need to flee in. So you need to know that. But because you remember stuff, and the problem is how you know your memory's not failing. So you remember stuff, that's problem with memory. See? That's problem with memory. Because people, people remember things different ways. You get memories mixed up. And so people are going to die because of your memories. Because you didn't calculate and figure this out. Back for a minute. See, let him understand. Right? Who's this? Let him understand. You got to understand this. You got to think about it. You got to figure it out. See? And it says, okay, if it was possible, it says, for there should be great false Christs and false prophets, and show great signs, wonders, even so much that it was possible to see the very elect. They can't see. That means they're so powerful. So, and they can't deceive them because they're thinking. So if they can't deceive them, they're thinking, and then you ain't thinking, so you lost. You lost. They can't deceive the elect because they're thinking, but you ain't. They're thinking and you ain't. And they tell you exactly what you need to do to flee. But because you can't rely on memory, you couldn't connect the dots. And so then you're getting a bad information, and it tells them when you see this particular sign, that means there ain't no room for doubt. You have to know. You see, but you have to know what that sign is, and that's because it says okay. Flee immediately. That means you have to know exactly. It can't be, oh, I wonder is that the sign. So you're hurting people. They should have to be clear in their mind that that's it. And then you confuse them because you tell them some other sign that had nothing to do with that. And you think that don't mean anything? You think there's not a consequence for that? You think somebody's not going to die because of that? Right? I had one person, they were light of it. Oh, well, it's only going to be a few in a taxi cab. There's nothing funny about that. There's nothing funny about any of this. God damn it, people's going to die. They'll be torn to pieces. Like you can't imagine. That's our people. That's what they're confronted with right now. And you out here with your bullshit? It's not funny. It's not funny and it's not a joke. You're going to find in a minute, I won't be here. See? And if none of you survive, that's up to you. It's not a fucking joke. There's nothing funny about it. Time of unprecedented trouble. And you think they'd be laughing and joking when they have to flee under that kind of pressure? They can't go in the house and get their baby or nothing? You think they're going to think, oh man, that was funny? They'd be terrorized, panic. And they're going to know, the only thing one knows, what do I do? And you, you ain't got time for no, They tell them to flee immediately. Don't go in the house and get their baby. That means they ain't got no time for, And some of you may be in that situation, and you deserve it. You deserve it. Because you didn't take this serious. I haven't met anybody yet that took this serious. Elijah Muhammad's the only person I ever met that took this serious. I ain't met anybody since then, even ones claiming they with this, they ain't took anyone seen to take this serious. Because they did, the action would be totally different. Right? And like I said, I don't speak English, I speak Ackless. And if they took this serious, they'd be breaking down Angel. They'd be lifting those weights. They don't have to be line of memory. See? You start seeing the muscles building. You don't see any of that. See? So I'm supposed to believe that. Oh, I'm going to gym every day, man. I'm lifting weights every day, man. I'm doing it. And you got a muscle nowhere. I'm supposed to buy that? Look at the sign of Jonah here. And some of these signs already took place. Instead of getting all this stuff gobbled. This is probably a clear message. This is not a clear message that say about people's lives in a time of unprecedented trouble. And you fucking around with it. Clear message.
Jonah 38. Then certain of the scribes and of the Pharisees answered, saying, Master, we would see a sign from thee. 39. But he answered and said unto them, An evil and adulterous generation seeketh after a sign, and there shall no sign be given to it, but the sign of the prophet Jonas. 44. As Jonas was 3 days and 3 nights in the whale's belly, so shall the Son of Man be 3 days and 3 nights in the heart of the earth. 41. The men of Nineveh shall rise in judgment with this generation, and shall condemn it, because they repented at the preaching of Jonas, and, behold, a greater than Jonas is here. 42. The queen of the south shall rise up in the judgment with this generation, and shall condemn it, for she came from the uttermost parts of the earth to hear the wisdom of Solomon, and, behold, a greater than Solomon is here.
I'll just pay attention to that. That's conditional. Because they said they're going to rise up in judgment because this generation didn't repent. See? Not just happened in the past. The fact is the scripture says this should happen and they didn't repent. That's what it says. That's why are they going to rise in judgment against them if they repented? They're just going to jump against it because they didn't repent. They repented of Farrakhan. I told it's conditional. So he tells somebody to sign Jonah, and that's a conditional sign. In fact, it already happened, but even if it hadn't happened, it's still the wrong sign for that. It's still the wrong sign for that. Had nothing to do with that. They said, well, the sign of Jonah is, because they say, well, some people said, well, the sign of Jonah, that he repent. Well, they said maybe they may not, based on what it's saying here. But even if he did come to the Nation of Islam, that doesn't mean they repented. You might say that, right? If you understand, well, you could say that in a way because they come to him. So you probably might get away with that one because they come to him, so they had to repent to come to him, right? But then it said he would be betrayed. So there's a question there. So maybe they came to him to betray him. But bottom line has nothing to do with fleeing. Now, you might be able to get away with saying, okay, well, if they do repent, right, then that means, right, the time for the flee is near. You might get away with that one. But you got to clear it up. Say, when you see, if remember, it's conditional. If you see the Nation of Islam taken over, Farrakhan thrown out, right, that means the Son of Man is taken over, right? That means Jerusalem will soon be drowned by armies. And when you see that, then you get away with that one. Because that means that's going to precede that. You say, oh, well, yeah. See, that's because you're thinking. You ain't just saying shit. Oh, yeah, okay, when he takes that, that means forces is about to go down. See? So this sign is a sign that sign is about to happen. And that's the sign you need to know to flee. Otherwise, he's telling them to flee as soon as he takes over. Flee. They don't need to know to flee because they can't flee at that time anyway. They don't know what the hell to flee to. They get information once you take over the NOI and give them the information they need to tell people where to flee to. This is the time of Jacob's troubles, unprecedented times. You can't be fucking around. People need to know exactly what to do, when, and what to look for. Now, a lot of these things are signs of things, but mostly they're signs of the time frame we're in. They're not a time to say to flee. They tell you exactly what the sign is for you to flee. That's the one you really need to know. All of them like precedes it. It's like give you, okay, it's like say, what do you say, like speed limit up ahead or something. So you get ready, prepared for it. It means you do it right here, just warning you that there's a sign up ahead. So some of these are just signs to let you know that you're getting close to the sign of the time you need to flee. Go out and get some groceries or whatever. It don't mean flee right then, but you just say stuff. I won't be here. And I don't know, because I keep telling you, when if you get to a tribulation and people realize that you was out there getting bad information out there, I don't know what they might do. I don't know what they might do.
Son of Man. 29. Immediately after the tribulation of those days shall the sun be darkened, and the moon shall not give her light, and the stars shall fall from heaven, and the powers of the heavens shall be shaken. 30 And then shall appear the sign of the Son of Man in heaven, and then shall all the tribes of the earth mourn, and they shall see the Son of Man coming in the clouds of heaven with power and great glory. 31 And he shall send his angels with a great sound of a trumpet, and they shall gather together his elect from the four winds, from one end of heaven to the other.
And you notice that, brothers and sisters? Like I said, it tells you it's a sign getting prepared for the next sign. Where it says there, and the powers of heaven shall be shaken. You heard that before? Right? Men's hearts filled with fear. Those things coming upon the earth. I said they ain't here yet. They're anticipating. Right? They're anticipating. Because the heaven is going to come here. And that's powers of earth. So that means at that time, that's when Suman shows up. I said, as I said, they repent. See, you got to pay attention to these things. This precedes that. See? Precedes that. The powers of heaven be shaken. Gog and Magog. Let's look at that one.
Gog Magog. 6. And whenever should be ended the 1,000 years, will be loosed the Satan out of the prison of him. 7. And he will go out to make to other nations the in the four corners of the earth, the Gog and Magog, to lead together them into the war, of which the number of them is the sand of the sea. 8. And the city the having been loved, and stepped down fire out of the heaven, and it ate down them. 9. And the devil the making to them was thrown into the lake of the fire and sulfur, where also the wild beast and the false prophet, and they will be tormented of day and of night into the ages of the ages. 10. And I saw throne great white, and the sitting upon it, of whom from the face fled the earth and the heaven, and place not was found to them. 11. And I saw the dead, the great and the little, having stood in sight of the throne, and little books were opened up, and other little book was opened up which is of the life, and were judged the dead out of the having been written in the little books according to the works of them. 12. And gave the sea the dead the in it, and the death and the Hades gave the dead the in them, and they were judged each according to the works of them. 13. And the death and the Hades were thrown into the lake of the fire. This the death the second is, the lake of the fire. 14. And if anyone not was found in the book of the life having been written was thrown into the lake of the fire.
Again, Gog and Magog, the big question about Gog and Magog. Gog is Russia. It's a little bit of thinking. You know, a little history, took time to study history instead of watch NFL and what LeBron is doing, right? You read 20, you're not be European history, but you don't care. You don't care about history. You don't care about math. You don't care about anything. That damn thing. I realized that was, you know, that's what I know. It's European history right away. I just didn't understand it before I got injured, but I knew it was European history because I studied history, and I could recognize that must be European history. I didn't put the pieces together. Because 1,000 years, I knew about 1,000 years. So that's coincidence. 1,000 years, they had so-called Dark Ages. I didn't know who was Satan, all that stuff, but like I said, I knew they had something to do with European history. Then the angel explained it all for me. And right there, once you understand, that's just a little bit of thinking. And then God, they don't have to argue about what Gog and Magog. It's very simple. It'd be two world powers that will come out of Gog and Magog. Two world powers. Like same thing with Adam. Students can't figure that one out. Even if they can, they won't tell you because that exposes who they are and reveal who we are. Adam. He said, I put a rule in earth. Who's ruling earth? Chinese ain't ruling earth. Indians ain't ruling earth. Europeans are. They're Adam. And Gog and Magog, that's the two, and they're ruling the planet. They're two only world empires that you know of in any time in history is America and Britain. Both are world empires. Not Genghis Khan, not Alexander the Great, not Hitler. It was those two as world empires. That's Gog and Magog, clear. And Magog means the mother of Gog. And that's Adam. Also, you take the energy, the same thing. Adam first, he came after him, right? Would be America. These things you don't need energy key for. You just need a little thinking. But if you got an energy key, it should be easy. So that's what I say. If people to see that's what it says. It says God will give them strong, I'm going to talk in a minute, strong delusion because they refuse. They have no love for the truth. No love for knowledge. No love to think. No love to think. So he gave them strong delusions. Refuse to think. Or is this right? I think it's in this one right here.
Perdition. 1. Now we beseech you, brethren, by the coming of our Lord Jesus Christ, and by our gathering together unto him, 2. That ye be not soon shaken in mind, or be troubled, neither by spirit, nor by word, nor by letter as from us, as that the day of Christ is at hand. 3. Let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come, except there come a falling away first, and that man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition. For who opposeth and exalteth himself above all that is called God, or that is worshipped, so that he as God sitteth in the temple of God, showing himself that he is God. 5. Remember ye not, that, when I was yet with you, I told you these things. 6. And now ye know what withholdeth that he might be revealed in his time. 7. For the mystery of iniquity doth already work, only he who now letteth will let, until he be taken out of the way. 8. And then shall that wicked be revealed, whom the Lord shall consume with the spirit of his mouth, and shall destroy with the brightness of his coming. 9. Even him, whose coming is after the working of Satan with all power and signs and lying wonders. 10. And with all deceivableness of unrighteousness in them that perish, because they received not the love of the truth, that they might be saved. 1:1 And for this cause God shall send them strong delusion, that they should believe a lie. 12 That they all might be damned who believed not the truth, but had pleasure in unrighteousness.
Remember I told you earlier, it says those, unless your righteous exceed the righteousness of the scribes and the Pharisees. So right there said they had no pleasure in righteousness. They want to think. So they got strong delusions. You get delusion when you don't think. Thinking people don't get delusions because they overcome, they think it through, they figure it out. It's like, right? You go to the gym, you just exercise your muscle, right? You're stronger. Right? But you get delusion, that means you're weak. Because if you're strong, that wouldn't bother you. And they get strong delusions because they want to think, they have no right. No love for righteousness. And then it tells you right in the very, very beginning, it says, be not deceived. I make it very clear, be not deceived. And the following way comes first. The Pharisee openly all the time tells you, no, that's not right. He says, because he's exposing the synagogue of Satan, now everybody's falling away. And it tells you right there. So how are they deceiving him? Because they don't care about thinking. There's memories. Wow. And they sit there and recite, they sit right there and recite the lessons, recite it. And then he come and tell them, oh, well, the devil ain't devils no more. And they can be healed. And they recite. You see what I'm saying? Because they ain't thinking it through. They're just reciting something, like a parrot. They're reciting something. I tell people, don't be saying what I'm saying. Just because I said it, check it out. Prove for yourself. Because you're the one got to survive this. You can't go back and say when the pressure hit your ass, well, he told me this, he told me that. No, if your pressure is great, is less than theirs, you're going to be crushed. Period. Simple. There's no other fancy buts about it. You're going to be crushed in the worst possible way. And people think that's funny. You're going to look around, you're going to see your relatives, your mother, father, whatever. You're going to see people being torn to pieces. And you're going to think that's funny? Because you failed or you didn't get on a job or you didn't take it serious? Torn to pieces. Maybe your own children. Maybe you find yourself with apple in your mouth being pushed into an oven. This is not a joke. The only reason why you're going is just because you didn't follow this to the message to begin with. Message of the covenant. Let's look at this one. So, son of perdition is an easy call. Easy call. He follows the devil. He says, admits it. Then why are they with him? Curse with a curse, at Malachi. Why are they with him? Okay, so let's deal with this one.
Messenger of the covenant. 1. Behold, I will send my messenger, and he shall prepare the way before me, and the Lord, whom ye seek, shall suddenly come to his temple, even the messenger of the covenant, whom ye delight in. Behold, he shall come, saith the Lord of hosts. 2. But who may abide the day of his coming? And who shall stand when he appeareth? For he is like a refiner's fire, and like fuller's soap. 3. And he shall sit as a refiner and purifier of silver, and he shall purify the sons of Levi, and purge them as gold and silver, that they may offer unto the Lord an offering in righteousness. 4. Then shall the offering of Judah and Jerusalem be pleasant unto the Lord, as in the days of old, and as in former years.
See what's so sad about this, brothers and sisters? All the signs I showed you, you don't need the angel for them. You don't need the angel for them. These are clear signs you don't need the angel for. It's just a little bit thinking. It says, right, messenger of the covenant. How can they look for the messenger of the covenant? They tell you Elijah, the last one, it's right there. It's right there in front of them. That's what happens when you don't think. It's right there. So you prepare your, oh, okay. And you don't think it, you say, wait, hold it. You ain't thinking. It's right there. Elijah, the eternal leader of the nation of Islam. He's the last messenger. And it's right there. And in fact, they actually used that to beat the priest over the head saying, I show you guys Elijah. It's right there. You don't need an angel for that. But nobody understood it. I told them. Nobody even talked about it. No one. It's right there. But they tell you about it. They tell you Malachi. They read it. So how come they couldn't figure that one out? Because they go to the gym, and the guy goes to the gym 200 pounds, and say, okay, you got a personal trainer. So the personal trainer goes and says, okay, let's start with a 20-pound weight. Now let's start with a 30-pound weight. Oh, now I can't lift that. You weigh 200 damn pounds. Yeah, most of it belly. I can't lift no 30 pounds, man. Let me try a 10-pound one. See what I'm saying? You only need an engine for this. You need to think a little bit. Because if you believe that, you wouldn't know where you've been Farrakhan. None of these things I just showed you, you'd anyway be near Farrakhan if you just thought a little bit. You don't need the engine for any of this. Any of it. Because most is just plain language. Let's look at this one.
Abraham's seed. 12. And when the sun was going down, a deep sleep fell upon Abram, and, lo, an horror of great darkness fell upon him. 13. And he said unto Abram, Know of a surety that thy seed shall be a stranger in a land that is not theirs, and shall serve them, and they shall afflict them 400 years. 14. And also that nation, whom they shall serve, will I judge, and afterward shall they come out with great substance. 15. And thou shalt go to thy fathers in peace, thou shalt be buried in a good old age. 16. But in the 4th generation they shall come hither again, for the iniquity of the Amorites is not yet full. 18. In the same day the Lord made a covenant with Abram, saying, Unto thy seed have I given this land, from the river of Egypt unto the great river, the river Euphrates.
Again, you don't need an angel for that one either. It's very clear. We spent 400 years here, 1619 to 2019. Land, strange land. Well, they say, well, as far as Jews, remember their home, they claim their home was in Palestine, right? You know what Palestine is? It's like right across the street from Egypt. So high in the hill was Egypt, a strange land. How was strange land? Plus Abraham lived in Egypt for a while. That was a strange land. That's where Jesus supposed to went, right? When they married, when he was born, married his mother, taken near escaped from Herod. But he's supposed to be a white boy, right? And everybody in Egypt back then was black. But how you gonna take a white boy hide and run black people? Just little thinking. That right there is enough. You don't need an angel for that. And then if you should bring, so why they call Abram here? Why about Abram? See, that's a little extra, but maybe I can worry about, maybe can't live 50, but shoot 45. So that's a little extra because it says, well, why is it missing the Ham? Oh, maybe that's because the people that says Ham is his seed. The ones in servitude. So that takes a little more thinking. But you don't need angel for this. And they can't get that right. They tell you exactly where your home is. It's not Palestine. That shows something wrong with them because they probably returned to Arabia. So that shows their error right there. Let's go to the next one.
Abraham's seed a blessing. 15 And the angel of the Lord called unto Abraham out of heaven the second time. 16 And said, By myself have I sworn, saith the Lord, for because thou hast done this thing, and hast not withheld thy son, thine only son. 17 That in blessing I will bless thee, and in multiplying I will multiply thy seed as the stars of the heaven, and as the sand which is upon the seashore, and thy seed shall possess the gate of his enemies. 18 And in thy seed shall all the nations of the earth be blessed, because thou hast obeyed my voice.
Again, there's that part about blessed. Okay, then you know Abraham's seed because it says all the nations be blessed. But as far as Israel, who blessed by who? Only person they've been blessed themselves. What nation been blessed by them? In fact, all the Middle East been destroyed by them. We was destroyed by them. Right? They caused America to be bankrupt. See? So who's all the nations been? It's us, obviously, because we made America rich. And the wealth that America had, they took and made European rich. Then the Europeans went in Africa, our brothers, and took from them to to enhance their riches. And then the jobs that we should have got, they gave to China. That's how made China strong. And now they're giving the technical jobs to India that came from here, they didn't want us to have. So who's making the world, who's making all nations? There's no other nation that does that but us. We're the only ones, everybody's got rich off of us. You don't need angel key for that one either. You little thinking. Okay, I'm gonna go. I'll go ahead and do this. Let's see. I might cut it short, but this angel 666. So I'm gonna go in a little more detail here on this bounces. I'm gonna go ahead and do it. But first, before I do it, hold on. Let me go check something, bounce. Just give me a minute. 'Cause I think I've been on about 2 hours already, I think. right, brother, sisters, I'm back. I'll go ahead and finish this up. It's chapter 13 of the angel. 666. The mark of the beast. So that's another one they out there telling all this. The mark of the beast, mark of the beast. They'll be all upset talking about the mark of the beast, having no idea what they're talking about. They're waiting for to get the mark of the and they will identify who the Antichrist is. That ship has sailed. They already got the mark of the beast already. They said the mark of the beast is going to be a computer thing or what was the thing they were saying? I remember I was doing my consulting business, right? There was something, I forget now, it's been a while. There was something that IBM did something, and they were protesting because it says that was the mark of the beast. Something about computers, I forget what. Let me take a look. Maybe I could. But it's been so long, that was 20 years ago, I think. Okay, it was a big thing. They didn't want them doing it because they said I don't know if I'll find it. Let's see. Oh, that was a year. Yeah, that was it. Okay, that was just one of the things, but yeah. Okay, I just go with that one. When they came with barcodes, if you're familiar with barcodes, right? They tried to stop it because IBM started, right? And they said that was IBM mark of the beast. That was a big scare. So you too young, too old, young to remember know about that, but yeah, that was a big thing because I had my business back then. That was a big thing. Oh man, they wanted to stop the government having barcodes. There was some more things too, but that was one of the main ones. Because that was going to be the mark of the beast. Because if you get that, you won't be able to buy or sell. See? No. If you didn't have the mark of the beast, I'm saying it wrong. If you had the mark of the beast, then you was under control of the beast and you could buy or sell. If you didn't have the mark of the beast, then you could not buy or sell. Sanctions. Now, who's in the world doing all these sanctions? It's America. That show you that has something to do with them, but they don't tell you that. It's Antichrist. And he's gonna put this code. He's gonna put this on you, and when he put it on, you gotta take it. If you take it, then you doom because now it means you worship the Antichrist. That was the whole idea. if you take this mark, right, and the mark's gonna be 666, they're gonna tattoo it on you, something like that, right? Now you be able to buy and sell under the beast system. But then when Jesus comes, he's gonna kill you because you serve the beast. So you got to resist it. Because the only ones that Jesus is gonna take is the ones that resist it. That was the story. That was a big deal. It's all bullshit. And you don't hear about it anymore. That was a big deal back then. That was in the 80s, I believe. And then Y2K had his thing, whatever. Anyway, so I'm gonna go through this fairly quickly, brothers and sisters. And I saw wild beasts stepping up, having 10. See, this is when they talk about chapter 13, right? See, the 10 horns. See, they don't know what that means. Elijah Muhammad didn't know what it means. He thought 10 horns was Central American countries that was going to attack America. He was guessing. If he hadn't broke the seals, he had to be guessing. So unless you tell me Elijah Muhammad broke the seals, then you don't know what the hell you're talking about. He was guessing. And Elijah Muhammad never even talked about the book of Revelations. Because only one person will break those seals, and that's where you identify who that person is. You don't need a computer to figure that one out. See? But the point is, if they break the seals, you have to be enough intelligence, enough mental power to recognize it. See? It's like, right, you give a book to a dog, he can't recognize it. He might maybe tell me he's going to put him down, but he won't recognize it. So you got to have, right, a brain powerful enough, maybe not enough to understand it, but enough to recognize it. And then they start, right? You have enough sense to go to the gym, and then you start working out, and that's where you get better and better at it, right? So anyway, that's the 10 horns right there. You're talking about 10 horns and 7 heads. Okay, that's the angel key. Let's move on. And then a wild beast. See, in other words, chapter 13 is where intersect, where Daniel and Revelation or angel intersect. Because in chapter 13, see, Daniel doesn't have a chapter 13, but the beast that's in Daniel, the leopard and the bear and the lion, right, except for the lion, that's the only place they mention in Revelations in chapter 13. So that's where they coincide. There's a reason for that, because there's information where they coincide. There's information just would intersect. There's information even just on that intersection, if you understand that. And why that sword is like a leopard, and the feet of it like a bear, and the mouth of it like a lion. So it also helps you understand what Daniel is talking about. So the leopard represents 10 horns again, because a leopard is yellow with brown spots. It has 4 heads and four heads and 4 wings, right? So the 4 heads, part of the reason why I said it, because it's so many of them. The most populous nations, right, is China and India. Even though Africa has more people than all, but it's not one nation, right? It's all broke up right now. But it's coming back. It's coming back together in a minute. When this war really gets into probably around by December, Africa's coming together now. Anyway, that's another story. So the wings represent democracy, which is India, and the heads authoritarian, which is China. See? And the bear represents Africa, Esau. See? And lion, right? What it says, and fears of being mounted as lion, it also represents, right, Africa. But you gotta understand how that works. Because they mention a lion also in Revelations or Daniel. Okay. It said, and was given to the dragon the power of it. The dragon represents, remember, he has the 10 horns and 7 heads. That's the dragon. Back. Let's go back. Go back. And this here represents Arabia. This represents Orient. This represents Europe, right? So the house of Sod, that's the dragon. It has the 10 heads And there's 10 horns and 7 heads. Right? And later on, you're going to see this is the tree. Anyway, let's move on. I'll get to my main point. So here it is again, right? And then it says, who is like the beast who make war with the beast? So in this case right here, uh-oh. So I'm out here, and I gave dragon power. Okay, the horns, I'm not sure it's in detail, but I'm going to get to my main point here, right? But here are this Gog, Magog, right? Magog, Gog, and Antichrist, which is false Israel. Now I'm going into all the details here, brothers and sisters. But it's who's like the wild beast, who's making war with it, giving the mouth speak great. I'm going to move on, brothers, because like I said, I'm not going to spend a lot of time with this today. I'm going to get my main point, so I'm going to move this rather quickly. Now, giving the mouth speaking great blasphemies. See, the mouth is Farrakhan, right? And would do it for 42 years. Farrakhan's been for 42 years, right? And NOI is the one that he's been, right? It says, it was given to make war with the holy, and to conquer them, right? And give authority, and some people say the saints, depends on how you interpret it, right? And so it was able to take down the false Israel, take down the Nation of Islam. Farrakhan's will come to take over. I should just pass this, just not get to my main point, brothers. I'm going to move on to my main point. So let's talk about, okay, here's endurance and faith for the holy. And I saw other wild beasts stepping out of the earth, and it was having horns too like a lamb, and speaking as a dragon. And see, you're not going to understand this. Actually, I'm going to move on, brothers, because unless you have some understanding of understanding of this. This is mostly for people that have some understanding. Unless I want to take the hour or so to go piece by piece, I'm not going to do that today. Right? But anyway, this is a dragon voice here. This is Satan. He has 2 horns, right? Like a lamb. That's what that means. So it's talking about the one sitting there. That's false Israel. That's one sitting on the throne. It's not God. Well, it's God's world. Because the Lamb takes the book out of his hand. So if that's God, how would he have a book in his hand that he wrote, but he didn't understand himself? Because no one in heavens or earth or on earth understand. Means no one understood it but the Lamb himself. No one's able to break those seals. So if this is the God sitting on the throne, as you say, and he wrote the book, how can he understand the book that he wrote? And so this is 3666 here, right? And so, let's see here. See, this is the one wounded by death, wounded by Japan. Death represents order of countries, right? Wait, next. This is the one that received breath and everything from this one. So America supports it, gives it military and financial aid, right? And this one here is the image. The false image of this one. It's the government, it's the exact duplicate. The Israel, so-called false Israel, the government, there's the Knesset and all that stuff, right? Prime Minister, they copy after that. That's why the image of this. They tell you, well, the image of the beast is some kind of statue or something. But anyway, I'm putting it out there, brothers and sisters. So if you understand, you understand. No, I already explained this detail previously. I'm not going to do it today because I'll be spending another hour doing that. I want to get to my main point here. This is 666 here. 666. And the main tool here, the main weapon was sanctions. And that's clear. You don't need an angel for that. Who's doing all the sanctions? Who's doing it before them? Everybody putting any sanctions on anybody for America. America's not doing so. That's meaning at least one of the sixes. Okay. And then it It says this, and then it talks about the number of the beast. So there's another one, right? And if you understand your key, you go up 6 across, right, like that, right? Then you get this one. And everybody laughs and I tell them this. That's Obama. You're gonna find out in a minute. He's the other one. So we're trying to get to who got the mark? That's what I'm gonna get to. Right. And that's where I show that Daniel and the angel come together right here. So I'm not gonna move on. Okay, what happened here? Oh, there was something wrong. Something wrong about this. Get my main point ain't there. See what I did here. Oh, you have to do it. Hey, give me a minute, brothers and sisters. I did something wrong here. What did I do wrong here? Okay, hold on. No, not there. No, it's not there. Give me a sec, boss. I messed up somehow. That's the main point I wanted to get to, and now it's like, what did I do? Okay, maybe it's right here. Okay, yeah, okay. I'm not going to say anybody got in here. Could be I just deleted some by mistake. Where is it? Oh, there. Wow. That's crazy. I messed up somehow. I should just left it alone like I started to. Something went wrong. What happened to it? That's here. Oh. Okay, I'm just have to. Oh, is that it? Okay. Okay, I don't know, I have to follow up, I'm doing, part two, brothers and sisters. I don't know what happened here, I can't find it. I have no idea what happened here. It was there, now it's not. Wow. I think somebody hacked in here, bro, because I don't have it anywhere, and I know it was here. Let me look one more place. One more place. This is crazy. Oh, it's disappeared. I could walk it through, but I want to give it a graphic. I have no idea what happened here. Okay, I have to do a redux, but I have to find out why, what happened here. No idea what happened here. I'll just tell you. I really want to do it without the graphic. I don't want to do it without the graphic. Well, let me try it. Maybe I don't want to attempt it. No. This is crazy. Okay, look one more place and then we'll close out. This is crazy. Now I'm convinced that somebody took it out. I guess I'm just convinced now because it was there. Okay. Well, I can just tell you, but it's not the same as not having the graphic. Now, I'm gonna leave it there, brothers and sisters. It's part of me. I will have it. In fact, I think I'll follow up today. Find out what happened, because I don't like to leave out there like that. I have no idea what happened here. That's the point. That was the whole point. And the one graphic that explains all this is gone. Only my explanation is because it was there. And that's the only one that's missing, the one that explains it. So, I said I had technical issues in the beginning. And so, I guess that was it. Okay, so let me do this and close out. Wow. Yeah, I'm gonna close out, brothers and sisters. I will do it this afternoon. I intend. I'm gonna find out. I'll do a short one to go over that again. Because that's the whole point. Mark of the beast, and when the graphic's missing, I don't know what happened to it. So I'm gonna leave it there, brothers and sisters. I'll find out what happened. Assalamu alaikum. Again, brothers and sisters, I said, if you don't achieve higher pressure, your thought is not more powerful than theirs. You will not survive it. They will overcome you and destroy you. Tribulation is all about. That's what I said. If your righteousness is not greater than theirs, your thought pressure is not greater than theirs. They think. If they're thinking two-dimensionally, that's more than you are doing. They didn't get this stuff off of prayer. They didn't think to build this reality they have. They come out of prayer. Farrakhan say pray, because he doesn't know. And prayer's not going to get you out of here. Try it. Right? Assalamu alaikum.